Yep. So yeah, guys, I think we're back. Go ahead. We'll keep continuing.
So real
Sounds
quick,
good.
Drake, I know we kind of went back and forth on this a little bit, but so if I had to say percentage wise, who's responsible for the loss? I still say 90% of the loss from the Super Bowl is defense and special teams. I think Jalen Hurts is like a 10%, in terms of that turnover. And I say that because the turnover happened early in the game. I understand the opportunity loss in terms of gaining points, but as soon as it happened, he redeemed himself for it. He recovered from it. He actually, I think, even played better because of it. Because I think that really got him fired up. Like, I'm not losing this game, and he was lights out going forward. And to have a 10-point lead, I feel like the damage was there, but the damage was recovered. It's like a team can stumble, but can recover from stumbling. It's just when the second half happened, that's when all the things that Sal mentioned, the coaching, the philosophy of the coaching changed. They got conservative on certain things. Some of the drives started to stall. They got the field goal where they really needed to touchdowns because Kansas City started getting touchdowns. Kansas City came out, had that long drive, to start the third quarter. Yeah, and they were running the ball, which was not happening early on. I mean, Pacheco started going off. I just feel like the defense, when you had a 10-point lead, everything was set. Like when we went into halftime, I don't think anyone on this podcast was looking at this like, man, I don't know if 10 points is enough. I think we're going, this is scary. Everyone was feeling like, you got this. Mahomes was injured going into halftime. I didn't even know what his status was. So I don't think the turnover meant a whole lot. I felt like that's like a heavyweight fight, and you got to, it's 10-9 every round, and then you get caught with a sucker punch, and so it's a 9-9 round. But overall, you're winning the fight. But in the second half, the adjustments were made, and eventually Kansas City flipped it, and then the rounds became 9-10 with the Chiefs getting tens or 10-10 because they were really going back and forth, and then it just got to the end of the game. Whoever had the ball last won the game, and then that stupid penalty. I mean, the Chiefs really lucked out to me. I really feel like they won the game by luck. I feel like they won the Bengals game. It was just luck. Just things just worked out. But I don't really feel like it was a convincing, dominant win or anything like that. They just got fortunate. That's what I feel.
I
I think
mean,
the Eagles wore those fire plug boots in the second half. I think that's what happened, man. They
so
couldn't get going at all,
yeah.
man.
Hey, what's up, Hef? Hef is in the chat. So, but
What's up,
Mike,
There you
man?
have.
I kind of see the opposite, man. I don't see the 90% defense or 10% of Jalen Hurts. A turnover is a turnover, man. That doesn't matter how you look at it. That was a costly 7 points. And I mean, he mentioned it himself. I mean, he said, "Yeah,
I mean,
that
yeah,
hurt."
of course. I mean,
But
yeah, turnover is a turnover, but the weight of it happened.
but
It,
well,
I don't
hold
think
on.
it had a significant bearing on the game. It didn't
But
change.
but if you're going into the locker
It didn't
room,
change the
but
momentum of the team.
but if
They
you
got it right back.
but if you were
You
going
know,
if you were going into the locker room with 21-7, don't you think that momentum would be changed too? On Kansas
I
City
mean,
on the
yeah,
Kansas City side,
there's an
and
opportunity
it makes the
lost there.
Eagles and it also makes the Eagles defense actually better to say, hey, you know what, we definitely can't let Mahomes catch up. So they're gonna pin their
I,
ear back and then put more pressure on them. I see turnovers as a costly mistake, especially when you lose. If they would have won the Super Bowl, yeah, turnover, yeah, you're right, he overcome it. But
No, I think they could have won the Super Bowl though. That's the thing. It wasn't like the
They
turnover
could have.
prevented
I
them
agree with
from
that.
from winning. They still could have won the
Hmm.
game. They had a 10-point lead. And if they recovered, they turned the ball over and instantly recovered from it. Like they went right down the field and got the lead again. So it was like, all right, it was a mistake. It hurt. Yeah, you could have made it a little easier, but you still were in a very good position to win the game. And then that's when they handed it over because the defense just couldn't come out and make a play in the second half.
well,
Um,
Hef said, with all due respect, it does matter because you gave the MVP 7 points.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
So,
That's what
here's
I'm saying, Mike.
here's the
And
thing
I'm not saying
that
it doesn't matter. I'm just saying that the weight of it is not as like here's
That's
here's what it is. When the game was over and the guys were texting back and forth, Andre said, "You know who lost us the game?"
right.
And Sal was like, "The defense." You said no, it was Jalen Hurts. I'm like, you out of your mind that Jalen Hurts cost you any part of that game. I mean, the guy was phenomenal. He carried the team. I would not, even with the mistake, I would not slander his name. That dude was
well,
the whole reason why he was in the game. I'm
well,
sorry.
Mike.
You
So
can't
what
go
does it
negative
mean?
on
So,
him, man.
wait. Wait. Out of Jalen Hurts' press conference, he said it hurt. So what does that mean?
Because he's a football player. I mean, of course he's not gonna say, yeah,
And
I
it was
threw
now
I turned the ball over. I mean,
now
a turnover is a turnover. I get it. But
now the other commentators said costly mistake, but it was costly me.
Guys,
I mean, it is
mean-
costly. I mean, it costs you an opportunity to go up 21 points possibly and
right.
change the
And it
dynamic of the
changes-
game.
That changes the game. That changes the game, Mike. So what? I'm going back. All right. Yeah, I told Dre this morning. I said I don't necessarily agree with Jalen fumbling that ball. It goes back to when you're at 3rd and 1, and Isaac Seumalo false start pushed them back, and then that's what happened. So what if Isaac did not? Because we was going to score. I mean, they couldn't stop us. You know, if Isaac did not false start, we wouldn't be talking about Jalen Hurts. I believe we'd be talking about Jalen Hurts being the MVP. You know, my thing is we'd have went down there. It was 14-7. That was huge. You know, when he jumped off sides. I mean, a false start, and then Jalen fumbles the ball. You at 14-14, you know, like we were saying, you could have easily went up 21-7. Then your boy Sal, Jonathan Gannon, is all giggles and all that stuff because, yeah, you don't have to do anything. You know, you just pin his ears back, you know what I mean? Because that's when I believe, you know, and hats off to Patrick Mahomes. I'm just telling you right now. Look, I know you on there, and I don't know if you saw the text. I'm taking everything out back and whatnot. Hats off to Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? Hurt everything. You know what I mean? He put everything on his shoulders, but that's neither here or there. But what, you know,
He was faking that angle. What you talking about, man?
There's one thing though. There's one thing that I think is really important that we haven't talked about yet, and the adjustment that was made in the second half was they blitzed from the right hand side and they forced Jalen Hurts to roll out left. And Jalen Hurts does not do well when he rolls out left. When you look at his statistic, I think that's going to be on the game plan for a lot of teams.
I agree.
And that's something he's going to have to learn. Just
But
not
didn't
roll
he
out
hit,
left and
didn't
start
he
to
hit
make
some
plays.
throws when he ran out left? Like I don't really think there was too many flaws in his game. They talked about that. He's like, yeah, he's rolling to his left, and he still would hit Dallas Goedert for a 3rd and 11. You know, I mean, he made critical throws that I was
The
surprised he could
percentage though
pull
was
off.
lower.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't. I see what you're saying on turn. I get it. You know, it's definitely impacts and certainly could have changed the dynamic of the game. But I just don't feel like that's what cost them the game. And I don't think it really cost them significantly in the game because I just think that team should have won regardless. You know, I just think with that defense and them sack masters and all that kind of stuff, and it just they didn't come through. I mean, 0 sacks is disgusting for a team that had double-digit sacks on every single person that's on the defensive line. That none of them could even touch that guy. That just makes no sense.
It's the field. It was too slippery.
Well, I mean, then I guess Kansas City had the better cleats then. I mean, come on.
That's right.
I mean, come on, man. But yeah. Hef said, "Bring Jermaine spitting facts. Bring the hot." And then Hef said, "What about the big Mahomes run? He makes big plays at the biggest moments." And then that fumble.
He does.
He said that fumble return woke the Chiefs up, Mike.
Yes. Look, yeah, I can see it, but still, they were not that awake. You know, they went into halftime still in the dumps, man. That was not a confident team going into halftime. I didn't see it. I mean, the Eagles looked very confident. And, you know, the Chiefs came out, you know, I think they had a half hour to game plan because of the halftime show so they could really study a bunch of stuff. And then they came out the second half.
Well, I blame the 30 minutes.
Drive.
I believe the 30 minutes.
that opening drive in the third quarter is what woke the Chiefs up because they were able to run the ball and then they were able to get more physical. And then that's when it was like, all right, we're back in the game. And then, of course, the special teams thing really is what, you know, got them a lead. They never had a lead until after that special teams play, and then they scored. So they were always chasing the Eagles until they flipped the script.
Right, but when you leave points on the field, you left at least in the first half, you left at least 3 points. And I believe, forget the 3 points, we'd have scored a touchdown. You left points on the field by that turnover. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Get more points. Get more points. You could have done it. They could have did it. They could have done the second half. They just.
What I'm saying, this is the most crucial point, you know what I mean, of the year. You can't. They always say you always got to be on the other side of the turnover ratio. You want to be on that side to where no, you don't.
Except for the
you look at
Jaguars,
the-
right?
Huh?
Except for the Jaguars, but had 5 turnovers, and what did they do?
You're right.
It's-
Yeah, I forgot all about
I
that.
agree.
Yeah, you're
Yes,
right.
the turnover battle matters, but I think it's crucial to say certain turnovers have different weights, and I just feel like that happened early enough in the game that they were able to overcome the turnover and still had a very, very, very high probability of winning that game still. They were dominating that team. And in the second half, something just happened that they got away from it.
Well-
and the Chiefs started figuring things out.
And then okay, then the turning point was the false start. So there you go. Okay.
Look,
It's the false
ultimately,
start.
guys,
All right.
it was a lot of factors, and even Nick
It was a lot of
Sirianni said
factors.
it
You're
after the
right.
game.
I mean,
He-
I was
yeah.
telling Dre this morning. I mean,
Yeah.
they was barely getting the plays off. I mean, it was
They
hitting
kept
double
getting-
zeros.
yeah.
We was getting a break. I was like, uh-oh. I said, here come the flag. But no, we was getting a break. There was a few times, you know,
Yeah.
that it hit double zero, you know? And it's like, wow.
I mean,
you know,
it was disappointing to see that how Kansas City offensive line was just manhandling our front four. I just couldn't believe
it
it.
was.
You tell me nobody could get through there, just nobody. I mean, it was just unbelievable to me.
Well, do you
Right.
blame
I
the
couldn't believe
footy?
how
Do
well
you-
Kansas City ran the ball on them.
Well, do
I
you
was
blame the
shocked. I
footy?
never thought Kansas City would get that and run it against them for that. much.
Right. What'd you say, Jermaine? I'm sorry, you were breaking up.
You blame the footy? I mean, because the Eagles are not giving up no excuses.
I
They're
can't.
Like, no, we're not blaming them that.
If we blame the
No,
footing,
we're
man, we should have had Kansas City cleats. I don't know.
I just think it's Kansas. I think it's just Kansas City. It's just that team that just in that moment somehow just plays better than any other time. It's something in the water. It's just or it's a Holmes factor. But guys who just aren't spectacular just in that moment step up. That offensive line. I mean, they gave up 3 sacks to the Bengals. You know, they were getting pressured by the Bengals, but in the Super Bowl, I don't know where these guys came from. They could stop the the best sacking team in the NFL somehow. I don't know where that came from.
Sal is right.
Just-
That defensive line ran out of gas. Who knows?
Well,
I-
Hef
who
said
knows?
that
Yeah.
they stole the Commander's tape. So
Actually, the Eagles stole the Commander's tape because the Eagles in the first half, that's exactly what they did. They controlled the clock.
Yeah.
I mean, Mahomes was sitting there on the sideline just kind of like, we're going to get
Yeah,
in. We're going to get in. I mean, I think that's also part of the reason why the defensive numbers kind of look the way they do because honestly, the defense wasn't on the field most of the first half. You know, that's why Sue only has 1 tackle because honestly, the Chiefs weren't on the field.
yeah,
that's
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they controlled that game substantially. I don't know what happened in the second half, how the Chiefs were able to quickly figure out things, but they did. You know, I don't know if it's Eric Bieniemy who figured it out or if Andy Reid, but
your boy.
someone.
I don't know. I
Someone
mean,
figured it out.
Jermaine said it earlier. He said that when does the defense really adjust with Gannon's type of scheme?
Right.
It
Yeah.
But
doesn't.
like you said, maybe
don't
they
have a
didn't need
scheme.
to
Well,
adjust.
he doesn't have
Sometimes
a
you gotta
scheme.
adjust. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, what did he need to adjust to? Because honestly, Kansas City wasn't on the field much. There wasn't nothing to see. There wasn't really a lot there until that third quarter drive. Then it was like,
Yeah,
uh-oh.
that's true. Now-
And then it's
now
like,
we
all right,
see
now
what-
we see.
yeah.
Now we need to
Yeah, now
adjust.
we
But
see what's going. Yeah, it's too late.
yeah.
Man,
Mm.
look,
And that's what goes back to what Mike was saying, Sal. I mean, Dre.
yeah.
I know you know, we was talking the other night that you got to push the ball. But I kind of like that scheme as far as keeping Mahomes off the field. But come at halftime.
You got to keep scoring,
But
though. I think it's the problem.
Then,
Yeah.
then you
well,
know me, Jermaine. I think afterwards, because after what you said about trying to keep the ball, then don't play scared. I mean,
Yeah.
Philadelphia played scared. Then
Yeah.
they were scared of Mahomes. You shouldn't be.
I don't understand why you scared of Mahomes. I mean, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, maybe that's where their coaching and experience comes
Look,
in a little bit, you know?
this is the amazing thing, man. This was talked about all around the horn that his longest drive was 29 yards to Travis Kelce or 22 yards.
22.
22
Right.
yards to Travis Kelce, right?
100 pass, yeah.
He had 184 or 88 total passing yards, 3 touchdowns. and
Yep.
Jalen was on the opposite. Jalen had 300 something yards. He had 3 rushing TDs. No. He had one to
Rushing
to AJ Brown as well. I was saying, but. All right, Hef. I know you're here. I know you're in the chat, but I guess I got to give credit when credit's due. I wasn't saying that 48 hours ago. I ain't gonna lie to you, because I honestly though I'm gonna be real, man. I think Patrick Mahomes is the most luckiest dude in the NFL.
That team was lucky.
You know,
I mean, they make plays, but they have the ball bounce their way.
Huh?
I mean, the ball does bounce their way, at times. That game could have gone either way, even with the turnover and everything. It's still, if Jalen Hurts had got an opportunity, to go down the field, I think they definitely would have tied the game at a minimum. Probably scored. I mean, the Chiefs' defense was invisible.
Well, hold up, this popped in my head though. One thing we did not count is that they missed that field goal.
The Chiefs, yes.
The Chiefs, that 3 points. So,
they did.
So it would have been
dunked off the
It would have been
the Chiefs
21-17, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
At
And
halftime.
give credit, Andy will get into the Super Bowl. Or the Hall of Fame.
The biggest
Andy's gonna
thing,
get in the
and
Hall
I
of
know
Fame.
you guys said something, Sal, I know you got yours, defense, and, you got your... I think what really angers me is that I can't believe is that the ref called that penalty on there. So you're not going to let that could have been the greatest Super Bowl in history. I feel as though one of the greatest Super Bowls in history. If we would have got that ball, what we had, like a minute and a half with one timeout, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Because you know why? You didn't call that crap in the second quarter when it was blatant. And I was like, damn, they ain't throw the flag on Bradbury when holding him, and that was blatant. This ticky tack one, at the end of the game, like, come on.
I was watching I was watching the Eagles post game show with Ron Jaworski and Barry and them, and I forgot who it said. He said, "Well, you shouldn't wear green gloves. You should have had white gloves on." Be blended to the jersey.
Yeah.
Man, those broadcasters was cussing up a storm. I was hearing it on the radio, boy. They was livid. Mike, you had to hear it, man. I was like,
I should have seen the guys on.
There was no bleeping or anything. Sal, did you hear it? You hear Michael Barkan?
Yeah, I saw Michael Barkan. He was hot.
Bring the hot. Bring the hot on that. Bring the hot.
He was
The first thing he said is, "That was bull."
I know.
He was going off.
Listen,
Look, it's a close game. It's all right. The ref, it's a fast play. It's in real time. They're calling it like they see it, but yeah, Jermaine, you're right. I mean, you don't call it the whole
delayed.
game. Now,
it wasn't like an
instant.
instant.
It was delayed.
It was delayed. It was kind of like, let me think about it, and then he said, let me throw the flag.
I just don't think that was what ended the game.
Okay.
No, there was a lot of factors.
It ended the game.
You think so?
But because after that, then the Chiefs had control of the clock that they could really milk it down, and then
Whatever they want to do.
Jerick McKinnon, running knowing that he could have scored a touchdown, and then he went down to even run more clock. So it really just took away that opportunity for Jalen Hurts to even get a chance to try to lead them to some kind of game tying or game winning opportunity.
But you know what?
So.
You know what I was listening to as well, and it kind of messed me up. Why the hell did they take so long for that? Not Devontae Adams, Devontae Smith. For them to overturn that catch. Clearly, that was a freaking catch. And it was almost literally like 4 minutes of time. Yep. They're going back and forth, and they're going to say, look, if you don't have inclusive evidence, you cannot overturn it.
I totally agree on that. Yeah.
You cannot overturn it. That should be a damn rule.
That's a good point.
You should have a minute. Just a minute to figure it out. If you can't see nothing like that, you can't keep going back and forth. Time's up.
Exactly.
Let's go.
I agree.
They had to call Vegas. They had to call Vegas.
Yeah.
Look, the ball. You remember when I see it in my mind right now. The ball hit the ground, but you can't see if he still had control once he was over. So I don't know where those referees get that evidence saying I don't get it.
4 minutes. 4 minutes.
Yeah.
That's too long.
Yeah,
That's
it was
too
bad.
long.
You know how many?
If you don't see it in the first 30, 40 seconds, stop. Yeah, it's
since
a
you
catch.
said 4 minutes
Yeah.
long, since you said 4 minutes long, how'd you guys like the commercials? How'd you like the guys the football commercials?
But real quick, go back to
Pretty good.
Okay,
go back to the
ahead,
ref
Mike.
real quick. I was just gonna say real quick before you get to the commercials on that ref. You know, the one thing with the referee calling that, you know, I think it was wrong to call it, but maybe the other side of it is if he didn't call it and they kick the field goal and then the Eagles go and win the game, then the Chiefs, when they go to complain, it's going to go back and say that dude was holding, because the refs get evaluated. So I don't know if part of that kicked in of, if I blow the call and not make it, what happens then? I don't think he'll make the call. I mean, you got to let him play, especially that, especially then. But that's what I think the guy was thinking. That or, the script was written,
Yeah. Mike, that's interesting because
it came in over his earpiece and it said, here's the part where you throw the flag.
It's interesting you bring up the refs because because here's the thing with the referees. Like, you remember, there's just like an all-star crew in the playoffs, right? It's not teams that are used to working together. So do we need to get away from these all-star crews and just let teams that are comfortable working together, that know how they call the game, that work well together, that don't disrupt the game as much as they do when these guys are just, random pick. I mean, I think it makes a difference.
I agree.
Yeah.
You get your best, the ones that've been working together, and you get that best crew and let them run the Super Bowl. Don't have an all-star.
That's right.
I don't know, man.
You're right, Sal. You're right.
You look at all sports, man. The refs are the ones that can determine the outcome. I mean,
they can.
Somebody's gonna get killed one of these days.
Look, man. I know there've been threats.
You know what I'm saying?
Clear?
Especially that one with the Rams blatantly with pass interference on the set. Somebody's going to die, man. Somebody's going to die one of these days. It's going to be on the news saying, referee so-and-so was slain in the middle of the street, going to his car after the game. Somebody's going to get hurt.
Oh, my God.
Either that or you're going to have a player stop.
Yeah, it's a tough job, man. It's like being a coach of a kid's team, right?
Oh, man, that's
everybody hates you. They tells you you're not doing a good job.
It's either that or it's going to be somebody's going to be flopping around on the ground, and declining like crazy, trying to get somebody to call the game, man. So just oh my God, that dude. That's a whole nother podcast. We'll get into that later. But all right. Real quick, because we're kind of running out of time. I want to do the Super Bowl ads, and I want to get into some of the free agents.
Yeah.
Trey, I know you want to talk about the Super Bowl ads a little bit. So go ahead, bud. What do you got?
Free agents first. Go do the free
agents. You want to do the free agents?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, now these are the guys who are starters. All right, so I'll just run down the list real quick. James Bradbury, Fletcher Cox, T.J. Edwards, Marcus Epps, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Justin Hargrave, Linval Joseph, Miles Sanders, Isaac Salamato, and Kazir White. Some pretty good names on that list. Not everybody, but some pretty good names on that list. Fletcher Cox.
Cox has got to go.
By Cox.
You had a good role play this year. You got your money. This walk.
Just go away.
All right,
Now, Bradbury is interesting because there's a lot of good free agents.
Going to San Fran, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of good free agents. Actually, a draft class is really good with cornerbacks. So I say if anybody probably might be able to be replaced, maybe Bradbury, just because there's so many good cornerbacks coming out in college this year, but still a big loss. I think Gardner-Johnson is one you got to sign.
You got to sign Gardner-Johnson. That's your next Michael Jenkins and Brian Dawkins. Now, I'm not saying he's on that level and whatnot, but he's a leader. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, you definitely got to sign him. You definitely got to sign him.
What about Hargrave, guys?
Hargrave is
11
he's,
sacks.
he's
I'll
on the
want
other
him
side of
back.
30.
Huh? What's that, Jermaine?
He's on the other side of 30. He's about to hit 30. I think.
Yeah, but I think we need him. I want him.
I think the
All right.
Go ahead.
FF said Fletcher Cox was rocking the low breast cut blouse.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I know we don't have a lot of time, but I'm looking at it on TikTok. I said, "What the hell is this?" and he had a necklace. What, he had beads or what did he have? He had
I don't know. It looked like them.
a necklace. I was like, "What the?" I said, "Okay."
Looked like them big Buddha beads or something. I don't know.
Yeah. With your boy Strahan, yeah.
Hard.
Here's the
product of defense. He
Two
could
big
walk.
names, guys. Miles Sanders and Isaac Seumalo. Sanders, I know Jermaine
Yeah.
very badly.
I don't understand. I mean, just one bad game, Jermaine. I mean, Miles Sanders should stay.
No, he had a few bad games in the season, Dre. It's not like he got 1,000 yards. That's just wonderful. All right, but can he catch the ball out the field? Can he catch the ball out of the backfield?
just
No, he
wonderful.
can't. All right. So Sayamalo, whatever his name is, yeah, you got to keep him. Now they're saying if they lose Sayamalo, they're going to put Cam Jurgensen on that right guard spot if Jason comes back. You know, so I'm good, but I would like to have him come back.
Okay.
I like that.
Do you replace Miles Sanders, or you just go with what you got?
No,
Get
you-
Boston
you
Scott
replace
back and
Miles
go with
Sanders.
Gainwell.
You go. Yeah, you gotta get a big back. You know, that's just my thing. But Gainwell's not a 4-down back, and neither is if they bring back Boston Scott. He's not a 4-down back either. So you're gonna have to find something. But I don't want Miles. I'm sorry, I don't want him back.
Yeah. Well, I guess also a big question is what's the offense going to look like next year? Because now you got a different offensive coordinator. He might have a whole different spin on how things are going to run.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
He might be a run man, and the game might be boring.
yeah, but if you look at our module right now, we are run the pass, right?
Yeah, RP.
So to me, man, it'd be nice to keep that same blueprint.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you
So-
have to start looking at the wear and tear of Jalen Hurts a little bit. You guys kept saying it all season. We run him too much. And then the shoulder got hurt because you run him too much. So, maybe you do need a little bit of a change in philosophy, especially if you end up paying him the money that they're talking about paying him. I know you expect him to show out, but you got to kind of protect the investment too. So he's going to have to change things a little bit, I think, and be able to run the ball, kind of protect him a little bit, make him run when he just needs to run and not just run all the time and take hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
no, I agree.
20 times a game. It's got to stop.
Yeah.
You know what
I mean, he was a leading rusher in the Super Bowl for the Eagles. I mean, he had 70 yards and no one else combined had over 40 yards rushing.
That's why I said Miles has got to go. He got to go. You come up short, the biggest game of the season. You gonna come up short like that, and you almost did. Forget about all this negative stuff. We would have been talking about Miles Sanders if they would have overturned that call.
Yeah.
The second time, we would be talking about all this other crap.
Yeah, if that turnover count, I would have been like, yeah, that cost you the game. I would definitely I'd have been on board with that. I'd be like, yeah, 2 turnovers back to back. Nah, that ain't good.
Right.
What about the linebackers, guys? Because there's 2 starting linebackers that are out. That's T.J. Edwards and Kazir Wolf. That's a lot. You got 2 out of 3 linebackers. So you guys want to let them walk?
Yeah, bring back TJ and get rid of Kaiser. I mean, Kaiser started off strong, and then I even heard his name the rest of the season. I mean, what are you doing, man? You know what I mean? What? Well, because why? The 4 lineman was, getting to the quarterback, but I didn't hear his name. After game 3, I was like, Kaiser who?
Right.
Yeah.
So
all right, let's.
You get rid of Kaiser. You get rid of Kaiser, Sal, and you plug in the Kobe Dean. That's who you draft.
Yeah.
That's who you draft. You know what I mean? Yeah, let him walk.
Yeah. All right, non-starters really quickly. Honestly, I don't think I see anybody on this list that I'd bring back except for one. All right, so here they are. Dillard, Kern, the punter, obviously, Gardner Minshew, Zach Pascal, Boston Scott, and Jermaine's favorite, Mr. Sue. So I say Boston Scott only. You guys think anybody else?
I say Boston Scott and Pascal.
Okay. What about Dillard? I like Dillard, but
I like Dillard because that's an offensive line depth.
I like Dillard, but never mind. Go ahead. We didn't talk about the rookie Blankenship. He did fantastic this year.
It's another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Blankenship. Yeah, he's a rookie.
I really hope he does really well next. I mean, he's done good this year. So anyway, I said Boston.
Well, if you're going to lose Epps, he's going to get in, Dre. If you lose Epps and don't bring Epps back,
yeah,
he's going to Marcus Epps. Yeah, Blankenship's going to take Epps' spot.
Right.
If he doesn't, they don't sign him.
Oh, they're going to fight. I think they're going to. I think that's.
They're going to fight for. I think Blankenship really has he can get that starter job.
Well, don't forget about Wallace too. Kayvon Wallace.
Kayvon Wallace.
Yeah. So.
Mike Gardner Minshew, we bring him back.
Oh, I mean, he's serviceable. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm not sure what else you're going to get in the backup market. So at least he knows the offense to a degree. Yeah. I mean, that Cowboys game that they lost, I mean, they were scoring. I mean, who turned the ball over in that game? Wasn't it Miles Sanders that had 2 turnovers in that game?
Yeah.
That's like a knife in the chest, dude.
Yeah,
wow,
I guess you will remember that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about bringing the hot.
Yeah, right.
Man.
That didn't affect no turnover.
Did he have 2 turnovers that game?
Nah, it didn't count.
No, that counted.
Less than 10%.
Like I said, that happened in the second and third half when he fumbled those. Actually, that was the fourth quarter, wasn't it? There's a difference between the turnover in the first quarter and the fourth. But I think you bring back Minshew. I mean, if he's cheap, it all depends on how much money it's going to cost you. You don't want to overpay for a backup.
Who else we got? I mean, doesn't. There's nothing. That guy. Huh? Who?
Nick Foles. We'll bring back
I hear-
Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is
No. Don't you mention that man's name in your mouth.
Keep his name out of
Keep
your mouth.
Your name out of your mouth. Carson
You'll
Wentz.
see your hand go across the screen.
Yeah, I think we're in good shape, guys. I mean, we're in not good
Exactly.
shape, but I think we're in
I'll
okay,
drop Carson off.
Yeah, I think we're in okay shape. We got 2 first-round picks, Sal. You know what I mean? You was following that all year. With
Oh yeah, that works out well
picks.
with Howie first round picks. Oh yeah.
Trade him away.
Howie some.
Trade him away.
Jesus.
Here's the thing. Typically, teams who lose the Super Bowl don't do well the next season because their schedule's a lot harder. As of right now, the Eagles' schedule looks hard. I'm not saying it is. Things change. Teams change, but it's definitely on paper much more difficult than it was last year.
Right.
Okay, and you can't re-sign everybody. Obviously,
No,
you're going to have to pay Jalen Hurts. So, are they going to go down a little? Well, they may go down a little bit. Maybe they're not as good as this year. They may go down a little bit, maybe make a push, but it's going to be a little more difficult for them, I think.
I think they're more hungrier. You know what I mean?
Hey, half-assed. He said no BS. Are Eagles going to repeat?
I mean, I don't think
tough.
so.
It's going to be tough.
I don't think so.
That's
It's
all
gonna
I
be
can
tough.
say. It's going to be tough.
Hey, but listen.
Yeah.
But remember. We went in the beginning of the season based on what we saw last year that Philadelphia was going to be 9-8 because it's 17 now, right? 9-8, just a little bit over 500, or maybe 10-7. I mean, we wasn't expecting this at all. I mean,
no, 14-3.
14-3, but we could see that the pieces are there. And to answer Hef's question, I'm gonna say repeat. I'm gonna say it.
Oh.
That's kind of.
I mean,
I'm not going to say it.
I am gonna say it.
I'm not going to say it.
Well, of course you're not gonna say it.
Yeah.
But
you know it's going to be in the way next year, and they're going to show up this time.
Okay, all right, yeah. Well, you know what? I'm about to say something with San Fran.
who is the NFC biggest threat to the Eagles next year? In the NFC, the biggest threat.
The Detroit Lions.
Detroit Lions.
Detroit Lions.
What?
It's gonna be San Fran or Dallas.
Not Dallas.
Somehow it will
until
be Dallas.
Dak,
I don't
until
know.
Dak can prove
Dallas
that he
is-
can't, stop being a turnover machine.
Yeah, in the playoffs. So in the season, they're going to be running, and then everybody's going to jump on back on board saying that Dallas is going to the Super Bowl. So yeah, I agree. Dallas and San Fran, which I really hate to say, because now that I'm putting them hand in hand, because you know what, Mike,
Uh-oh.
I'm upset. I'm mad, and no disrespect to you. I know you're a San Fran fan and all that stuff, but what is going on? They're still belly aching over this NFC Championship. Get over it.
I'm mad about
Debo.
that too.
Get
I'm tired
over
of it.
man.
Yeah,
Get
I'm
over
like,
it.
stop
Get
talking.
over it, Robbie Gold. And I'm just saying, I hope
Robbie
that
Gold.
Christian McCaffrey gets on the field the first game of the season and whips his hip out of place, and he's done for the season. I'm done with him, man. I'm mad. I hope they lose every game this season. Seriously.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I'm not happy about it. I went to tweet about Gold's comments because he kind of said something I kind of had some concern about CMC and Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. So I'm like, y'all lost, and I really mad at Deebo because he called Bradbury trash, and I'm like, yeah, but you didn't get wide open. I mean, we had a quarterback that could throw the ball in the game, and it wasn't like he was wide open for Josh Johnson. I mean, I don't like the trash talk either. I mean, they got that butts kick, and even before Brock Purdy, it wasn't the same thing. I don't like none of that trash talk, man. Go out and win.
Yeah.
So I hear you on that. I do feel you on that.
In my mind, it was the funniest freaking thing was that special teams play when Bosa got taken out. He just was like, what the hell happened?
Take him out by his own guy. Yeah, it's like everything that can go wrong went wrong in that game. Like everything. Like what the heck?
Bosa
wasn't even in the game. How does that happen? You get your leg cut. Fred Warner gets knocked out. First play of the game is like, oh man, here we go. I mean, that was just. I don't know. The script was written. The script was written for them to lose badly.
I blame your coach too, Kyle Shanahan, because I think he was part of this nonsense too. All this belly aching and all that stuff. Kyle Shanahan should just step up and say, "You know what, guys, shut up. All right, it's over with. Let's go into off season and let's move on." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more leadership there on just keeping the team focused. Yeah, I was really disappointed. I was disappointed even during the game, even when Trent Williams did his deal. And I was like, when they were fighting, Drake Greenlaw trying to punch the ball out. Haufunga, got the late hit out of bounds. And her like, what the heck are y'all doing? Yeah, go out with some class, man. I mean, do at least what got you here. They fell apart 100%. I agree, but they'll figure it out. They'll be back next year.
Hef said Kyle Shanahan talks a lot for a ringless coach.
Oh, man.
Oh boy, he talking trash. Got that trash franchise to let every single good coach walk right out the door, and they ain't got nothing for it.
I got a question for Hef. Who's your coach with a ring? Oh, I'm sorry.
Right? Talk about hot seat.
I don't know. Hey, they talking about is Riviera going to be there next year?
Hot seat, baby.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ron Rivera?
McCarthy,
Ron Rivera's.
all those. Yeah, those
Hef's
two
still
guys.
free for Zorny.
Riverboat is going to be on that Tacoma.
Man.
Well, remember, Ron Rivera is the Andy Reid product, man. Remember, he started out as special teams coach, man. So he's,
all I remember is Ron
he's
Rivera being a good linebacker for the '85 Bears. That's about it.
Was that the Super Bowl shuffle where they recorded the music and the Bears?
Bezos will be the New Jersey son.
What's that?
We talking about Bezos. Bezos will be the new Jerry.
So what was the other line? What was the other guys? As far as the non-starters, Sal.
Is that all of them, right?
Which
the other non-starters?
Non-starters. Yeah, real quick. So Andre Dillard, Brett Kern, the punter, Gardner Minshew, Zach Pascal, Robert Quinn, Boston Scott, and Mr. Sue.
Wait a minute, Kern. Kern is the punter. I thought Scipios or Scipio, whatever his name is the punter.
I think Kern didn't Scipios get hurt, and they probably just signed Kern
right.
to fill in. Yeah,
that's right. You're right. Yeah.
So,
Hunter's a
but
dime a dozen.
Dude, Jermaine, you want to bring Sue back? I know you do. Come on.
Sue, I mean, yes.
He might need to
Come right off your
retire.
sunset.
He's
How
kind of
old
just
is
a
he?
mercenary now.
Pretty much, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
How old is he, man? I mean, because he don't have
He's
a
36.
hairline. That hairline is way back there.
Look, Sue,
He's yeah.
Sue
Hey
has
man, Tom
has
Brady's what, 47, 48 is the GOAT, you know. So why not?
Sue has
Yeah.
the type
Yeah.
of contract, his briefcase. Like, this is how much you're gonna pay me to take people out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, let's wrap this thing up, guys,
Alright.
because we gotta wrap this up. So let's go around the horn real quick as we normally do. Say what's on your mind. Could be about the Super Bowl commercials, what you think is going to happen next year, something rule changes that you'd like to see, coaching moves, whatever it might be. The fact that San Francisco has 100 draft picks because of coaches that they put through the system, whatever you want to talk about. Go ahead, Mike.
I'll just say this because we didn't get to talk about the commercials real quick, but there was one commercial that I thought was pretty clever, and it didn't fool me, but actually fooled people in my household. But the Tubi commercial where it brought up the Fire Stick, and it looked like it turned away from the game. Did you see that one?
Yeah, that was pretty clever. I was
Yeah,
like,
my wife
what?
said, "Why'd you change the channel?"
Exactly.
I looked at it, it's like, "Come on now, it's a commercial." You know, that one was clever.
Yeah,
Trey, what do you got,
the two Super Bowl commercials stuck in my mind. One was the with Puffy. That was funny as I don't know what. And when Diddy. And
Yeah.
that one was fun.
You put on a lot of weight, though. I like that.
Well, listen, you guys are gonna laugh at me, but most of the time when I see those people with a lot of weight, it's because of COVID. They're in the house all day. They're gonna eat, so, you know. But the other one is the Dunkin' Donuts commercial with Ben Affleck and J Lo. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
And she pulled up to the drive, and he was like, "Oh, I gotta go, fellas." And she said, "Well, before you leave, make sure you get me a glaze." I thought that was hilarious. I like that one, but look, listen, real fast, man. Eagles, great year. I think they got the strengths to come back to do it again. You know, I'm looking kind of towards that, like New England Patriots did when we beat them in 2017. They came right back around and won it in 2018. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say, to jump in real quick, actually both our teams really went well beyond expectations. I mean, I had no idea when Trey Lance got hurt. I was just like, yeah, we're done. You know, you guys came into the season just kind of like, I don't know what you're going to get out of Jalen Hurts, and you get an MVP quarterback. No one predicted none of that stuff. This was definitely a wild season for both our teams.
Yeah. Go ahead,
Jermaine, what do you got, brother?
I think my biggest thing is now what? Now what? After the Super Bowl, now what? What do we got to do? Now we got to wait about a good 4 or 5 months for training camp to start. It's just amazing how fast this season went. I remember, our start of the season, we were like, football is back, baby.
Oh yeah,
let's go.
Yeah.
Let's see all that stuff. Now look at us. Now what? Somebody tell me.
76ers.
Oh God. Trey's a fan.
Well,
spring
training is coming up, right, Sal?
No, free agency is the next big thing. Free agency is really the next. Yeah, that's where.
And then the draft, right? Yeah.
Yeah, who's going to pay Lamar Jackson?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, that's just my biggest thing. Now what? I'm not too keen on what's happening. Both my son, are in baseball. So I'm not looking forward to that. And then,
Okay. Oh Lord, Hef said Lakers, baby.
Oh man,
That's a whole nother podcast.
What Phoenix?
We got something for you.
Phoenix is stacked now, right? After all them trades, is it Phoenix stacked? I don't know.
I think Hef's been taking shots again. That's all I'm going to say.
Well-
I touched the nerve. I touched the nerve when I told Hef LaFraud James. You know what I mean?
Oh
Yeah.
boy, what,
Wow.
hey,
Boy.
Yo, we're
Ah,
going now.
Hef just
Just
sent
open up Pandora's
And
box.
KD said, "Hey man, that's a touchy subject."
Hef
man.
just
You
sent
can't-
about 12 laugh emojis when you just said that. So look, that's a whole nother thing that I got to tell you about LeBron.
Well,
Next show, right? Next show.
Next show.
that's right.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Yeah.
what I got is not necessarily Super Bowl related, but show related. And I just want to say how much I appreciate you guys and how much fun this is each and every week. Regardless of what
Yeah,
the Eagles do or don't do, regardless of that we argue about Howie or the defensive coordinator, whatever it might be, you guys, it's always a pleasure, man. So, and that includes the guys that all dressed up. We're fortunate to have people listening to us, going on other podcasts, and this is what makes it all worthwhile. Doing this all the time, having fun, talking about sports, and you guys make it all possible.
Hey,
So that's
hey,
on my mind. Thanking you guys.
hey
So,
man, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was a good
right here.
good season for Enough Said and collaborating with All Dressed Up this year. So we're looking
Yeah.
more for that and more people to get on and guest and
Yeah, get some more guests.
And,
we really didn't have a lot of guests this.
no,
Right, no, we
we
didn't.
didn't have a lot of guests
Yeah.
this year, but
We're
we're
not
they're
done
standing
yet.
by.
Yep.
Yeah,
We
we're
got
not
some.
done.
They're
Oh
coming.
no,
Yeah.
man! We
Mhm.
last year, we had a lot of good people. So
Yeah.
Right.
it's coming, it's coming.
Yeah.
So-
Good.
No, we got some in the wings waiting, and I think we have a lot of good things coming up too, because it's not just going to be football. Like the off season of football, while we're waiting for free agency and combine and the drafts and all that. So we talk about everything like Formula One, baseball, which is starting in a couple weeks. There's a lot of stuff we talk about. So check out our show as always. Like I said, subscribe to our channel and Dead Podcast. We're also on Facebook, Twitter.
Yep.
All the major networks, Spotify, all those. You can listen to us on there as well, or just email enoughsaidcrew@gmail.com. So
Yes,
as
sir.
always, guys, we appreciate it, and we'll be back. 2 Sundays from now?
Yeah,
I
and
think that's
Yeah,
what we're
yep.
talking about.
thank you, one and
So-
only Shell. Great show, LOL. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
We appreciate that.
Who?
Yeah.
Oh, one and only Shell.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right.
All right.
So,
All right. I dig it. Okay. We appreciate you, Shell. I like that.
yeah.
So, all right, cool. Well, keep an eye out because we're going to be checking out our social media channels because we will put next time we're live broadcasting all our shows. We're going to be live broadcasting coming up. So, drop us a line. If you have any questions or any topics you want us to talk about too, we're more than happy to do that. So, all right,
Sal
gentlemen,
Howie Grace.
let's do it. That's right, baby. Howie, he's my man. So,
All right.
all right, guys, later.